Right, look at this. What do you see? I'll give you 5 seconds. Did you see this? Cool, right? Now here's the thing. Most people do see something, but they don't see what matters. Now you, when you were looking at this, probably saw the ball. You probably saw this player making a run. You might have been thinking ahead a little bit, which is really good, and thought about what are the consequences for this defender? And could this run create a possible 1-2 where the player runs into space? And that's all brilliant. If you pick that out, excellent. But you can go deeper. And let me show you what was actually hidden in plain sight. So we've already mentioned the first bit in this zone, which is where the eye will automatically go, because that's where the ball is. But let's zoom out a little bit. We can see this player behind the ball carrier possibly able to make an overlap and run. We can see his other defender next to him in a pretty good position to be able to defend a transition in case they lose the ball. If we go further into the pitch, we can actually see in the centre here, there's a 2v1 underload for Barcelona, where 2 players are marking 1 person. We can also see the very high line from the opposition team. And then if we go to the near side of the pitch, we can see here that Barcelona have a massive overload. And then if we even hone into their positioning, we can see that this attacker is on the blind side of his opposing defender. But here's the truth. Just seeing the picture isn't enough. You need to understand why each part matters in context to the game and what might happen next. So let's again go through it and try and work out why each part is important. Well, firstly, going back to the bit that you probably saw, this run drags the centre back out of position, which could open up space for the player on the ball now to make a run in behind to create a 1-2. If this player makes an overlapping run, he could automatically create an overloaded situation for Barcelona on that far side. If you go to this bit again, this is an underloaded situation for Barcelona, but why is it important? What does it actually mean? What is it telling us? Well, it tells us that there must be a spare man elsewhere because you have 2 opponent players marking 1 person. And we then look down a little bit and oh yes. There's the overload. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So there's an overload on this near side, but what is that telling us? Why is that important? It shows us where our spare man is, and it shows us the zone that Barcelona should look to play to next to try and progress the attack. And then let's hone in on the details a little bit. Here we see that the Barcelona attacker is on the blind side of his defender. Blind side, if you don't know what that means, it's when the player that the defender is marking is pretty much on the other side of him, making it very hard to see him. Well, why is that important? Well, it makes this attacker a threat because he can possibly make a run in behind and go untouched. Plus, it effectively creates a 2v1 on this right back. Oh, and we can see that the defensive back line is very high, giving Barcelona the platform to do that. And then if we go over here, we can then see that Barcelona have good protection in case they were to lose the ball. Now, I wasn't able to pick all this out in a moving frame. Again, if we put the clip in video form here, you can see how difficult it is to try and spot all of these different things. So I have to slow it down, and even better than that, I've got to freeze it. Oh, and by the way, before I reveal this method, did you know that I've got a course which teaches you everything you need to know about football tactics? Go and check it out below. So here's a method that I use all the time and you can use straight away to improve my clarity and my analytical eye. It's called the freeze frame method. Yeah, it's not a very fancy name, I know that. If anyone's got a better name for it, just drop it in the comments. And step 1 is to pause. So for example, if you are watching a match on the TV, see if you can pause the TV and spend the next 2 minutes analysing what you see on the screen. Identify the structure, where is the space, where might the players move, are there any underloads or overloads. Step 2, I want you to spot the intentions. So you've picked out what you see. Now I want you to dive into why it is important and what the team's intentions are in this frame. It might be a certain run that this player could make to open up space for someone else. It might be a certain trigger that you spotted that a team could press on. And then step 3 is try to predict what must happen next. So based on your analysis, which outcome would benefit the team the most? So let's run through our example again then, shall we? So let's play this through. Let's imagine I've paused a TV screen here, and this is what I picked out in a 2-minute period, okay? But we're going to let the play carry on. Okay, so the play's carrying on. We can see that ball does get played into the feet, and he does make that run ready for the 1-2, but he doesn't use it, and that's fine. But I've got in the back of my mind that we spotted this overload on the near side. So let's find out if Barcelona use it. It does very well in a tight situation. We again see that good defensive protection in case he was to lose the ball there. He does very well, and now he gets over to this near side. Now remember that player on the blind side of the defender? Well, we can see this actually does get utilised here. Look at how hard it is for this player to defend now. Look at his body shape. And now he's got 2 players on him because the other player who is causing the overload on the near side now runs inside. So Barcelona are utilising this overload very well here. And that makes it a beautiful ball through. He's onside. He's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. and he slots it away. So do you see how that worked? I have stopped a moving frame. I spent just 2 minutes writing down and annotating as much as I can. I then picked out why each part is important in context, and I then played the rest of it through to see what happened next and to see whether my analysis was sound. Do you see how this method is so powerful and effective? And the more times you actually use this, the better your eye becomes automatically at spotting this stuff when the frame is actually moving, because you become less focused on what's just happening around the ball and you actually start to see the bigger picture. Now, I hope that I've given you some confidence to try this method for yourself. And this is actually just one of the methods I teach inside of my course and community. And you can join it today to get way more insight and connect with the people in our amazing community. The link for that is in the description. And by the way, get in quick because I've got an exclusive discount running at the moment. And I'm well aware it's way too cheap based on the amount of content inside. But if you're not ready for that yet, don't worry, you can get started with my free match analysis template here. Again, link in the description. And now if you've watched this video all the way to the end and you have this method in your armory to use, why not practice spotting tactical patterns next? So this video here might be to your liking. Please be sure to subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.